Hi, everyone. I just want to make sure everyone can hear me loud and clear. If you don't mind, just someone in the chat, just give me a thumbs up emoji or something so I know we're good to go. I see a hello. I love it. Super excited to be here today. And I'm looking forward to kind of giving you all my 17 years of knowledge and insights and lessons learned on how to hopefully grow your business and get it to seven figures. Before we get started, I would love it just so I have an idea who's here, who's listening. Introduce yourself in the chat. Tell me where you're located. Tell me where you're from. Tell me what business you might run. I'm just curious before we dive on in to know some of the folks that are here and listening in today. And a quick housekeeping item too, as we're about to get started here. Any questions throughout this? At the very end, we're going to be doing a Q&A. There is a Q&A tab built here on Zoom. All you would have to do is use the Q&A. Up, it says chat is disabled. Marissa, just FYI, I'm getting a couple Q&A with that. Thank you all. There we go. All right. So let's try it again. This is why we're quickly working out the kinks before we get started. We got Maryland. My sister lives in Ellicott City, Maryland. I was just there for her baby shower on Saturday. All right, we got North Carolina, we got Texas, we got Tennessee. Had a great layover recently in Nashville, in Tennessee, so that's awesome. All right, we got Baltimore, Miami, Carolinas. Oh, we got Philadelphia. All right, I'm in Fishtown, so we got a couple folks that seem to be local. Love to hear that. So throughout this entire presentation today, chat, webinar, any questions you all have, please put in the Q&A tab, only because as you see the chat's now firing at all cylinders. I don't want to get easily distracted and just like side derailed, but I am going to ask you all what I've observed. So not only have I been running my business for 17 years, I'll tell you personally, I've learned the most when I've done webinars, speaking gigs, things like that, by being an active participant. So there's going to be multiple times we're going to ask you to reinforce something or say something in the chat. I highly recommend that because if you do, I bet you'll walk away from this conversation today actually remembering most things versus having it basically go in one ear and out the other. I love it. I love it. Let's see, it's making self. Is it sangria, a non-alcoholic tequila chaser? That sounds delicious. Well, let's dive in. So first and foremost, I just want to state today I'm going to talk about how to grow your business to seven figures, especially in the year 2026. I think it's very important to frame here. What I'm about to share today, I'm not going to BS anyone here, is not rocket science. However, I would be underselling it if I say it's not very difficult. But most folks, and I'm not excluded here, it's hard sometimes to hear things where you feel like the answer should be more complex, and it isn't. It doesn't mean that it's not easy. So some of the things we're going to talk about today is very much strategies in 2026. No doubt about that. Simultaneously, some of them are going to just be fundamentals. And from a conceptualization, easy to understand, but not easy to implement. I'm going to give you all just true, no BS, just honest feedback, strategies, ideas, and stories and lessons I've learned that you can apply for yourself. And are you dog poo cleanup is the first question in the Q&A tab, which, you know what, probably perfect segue to who the heck am I and why are you all listening to me? So my name's Josh, in case you haven't figured that out. I am not dog poo cleanup for Dustin Ward. I appreciate the question. I actually run one of the largest app development agencies in the entire world. We started back in 2009. If you keeping score at home, that in dog years makes us pretty darn old at this time. odds are for a lot of you, you have probably used something we have built before. We have built apps for companies like Six Flags and Hilton and University of California and Universities of Washington and Pennsylvania, and Siemens and Wawa, Mr. Softy. I've personally have been a part of probably about 400 startups that we've helped launch, for building their mobile apps and web apps and software. So we've gone from brand new companies to growing companies to Fortune 500s. I've even worked with NASA, the Navy, with previous White House administrations. So, yeah, I've been doing this for a long, long time. And I just want to kind of dive into this. So I actually started Chop Dawg 17 years ago when I was 16. So I'll let you all do the math. I have a little bit more gray hair than I might have had back then. Uh, I actually started Chop Dawg as a website design company, walking door to door because I could not drive yet, back in the day when I started. And I grew up in New Jersey, South Jersey in particular, near Atlantic City, for those that might be familiar, going door to door, selling websites to folks who at the time didn't believe in website design or needing it. But since 2010, 2011, we have been building for iPhone and Android apps, web applications, wearable software for your wrists, for your car. And as I noted, we're pretty much industry agnostic. I've done with retail, I've done with government, I've done with healthcare, I've done with education. I kid you not, many years ago, we got a professional cuddling app into the App Store that got acquired for about, I think it was like $45 billion. When I've said I've seen quite a bit, I have. And I've also published a best-selling book called Entrepreneur's Framework. And just like you all, I just try to run my business every single day, trying my darnest to do what's best for my clients and to help people, and hopefully sometimes use speaking opportunities like this to give what I've learned. On that note, let's talk about what we're going to cover here. So my goal here is spend like the next 20 to 30, maybe 40 minutes going through everything I'm ready to present with strategies. But I want to leave about 20 minutes for Q&A to answer questions and ideas throughout this entire, because I personally have observed I learn best when I can ask direct questions or put in more practicality. So look at the next 20, 30 minutes as building the foundation, and then using the last 20 minutes to help reinforce through direct questions and thoughts. And what you're going to walk away with. So first, my game plan is really simple. I want you all to walk away, no matter if I saw there's a lot of brick and mortar businesses, I saw there's a lot of retail businesses, a few service businesses, strategies that you can implement right now so that before this year's over, you're making over $1 million in revenue. And I don't think that's unrealistic for a single person that described in their chat what you did. The second thing is I want to go through the four revenue pillars that to me are just absolutely fundamental. Then I also want to go through the modern tools we use for demand and efficiency. And yes, I'm going to talk quite a bit about AI, because if you're not using AI today, and for any business, for whatever model you do, you might as well just tie a hand behind your back. And last, I want to talk about financial clarity that supports profitable growth. All of these are not mutually exclusive of each other. Think of it as two sides to the same coin. In this case, it might be a four-sided dice, but you get the idea. I want to thank Lily in advance. We're going to talk about them more in a bit. I'm personally a customer. They invited me to come out and speak today, and they're the best. So appreciate them having me. So it's important to note a few things. Right off the get-go, like $1 million is a milestone that when I talk to so many of my own clients, and we call them partners, it's this big milestone, this big number. However, I do want to frame, and I don't say this to be hyperbolic, it's like, it's never been easier to do $1 million in revenue. Simultaneously, that's between the tools and systems that exist out there and how to reach people, and just inflation. The reality is $1 million in 2009 to $1 million today is a little bit different. But second, it's also never been more crowded in the marketplace to get out there. And I do want to talk about that. And the strategies I'm going to do today works no matter, as I highlighted here, for products, for services, for hybrid. See, I'm in the service industry, but I work with so many products. I've seen the overlap here. But to my point, people are more educated than ever. They're able to do research, build trust, and the way brands relate to people are more important than ever. And I want to talk about these modern strategies because that's so important. And the same thing with community. So a lot of my focus today is going to be focusing on internet-based strategies, not necessarily front brick and mortar, but I guarantee you if you're at a storefront, it will do the same thing. These strategies are kind of universal. I want to hit home. If there's anything I can take away, if you all can take away from this next hour, it's really simple. These four pillars are the most fundamental truths that I wish I just had tattooed on me. If you're going to hit over $1 million, honestly, you're going to do a $10 million, $100 million brand. You need these four pillars: demand, leverage, stability, and freedom. These are the four. So what do these mean? Increasing number of customers or clients is demand. Increasing the average transaction value of project size is leverage. Increasing the purchase frequency, renewals, or retention, that's your stability. And then improving your margins and overall profitability is freedom. As I mentioned, I guarantee you every single person here listening knows these terms on paper. But I do want to challenge something here. How often are you really just being purposeful and conscious about these four things? How often are you obsessing over all four? Because each one of these are just as important, of critical nature. So I can't say enough. A lot of times when people tell me they're bottlenecked or issues, they say, I don't reach enough customers, I don't reach enough people, and I'm not bringing enough money. That's usually the number one thing. I want to talk about that. There's strategies to do today. But that is, of course, a problem when we all want to grow. But that's not the only pain point. The second thing is increase average transaction value or project size. I'm curious how many of you do bring in folks, but you're not bringing enough revenue with the opportunities, the at-bats you have. We're going to talk about that a little bit here. The same thing when it comes to frequency, your retention, your renewals, bringing people back into your brick and mortar location. I want to talk quite a bit about that because I think a lot of folks sleep on, okay, I got people to come in, they spent money. How do you keep them coming back? How do you keep them happy? How do you keep them referring you? And then lastly, how often are you thinking of your actual margins, your ultimate profitability, your ultimate price point that goes into it? So that's another area that we're going to be focusing on here. So I'm curious. This is where I'm going to ask you all. Let's use that chat. I want you to get engaged. Right now, what would be your biggest bottleneck for your business, for your service, for your product? Share. And I want you to be really descriptive in the chat for me. So don't tell me, oh, I need more money. Of course. Like, is it your margin? Is it low repeat and renewals? Is it you're not getting enough demand with customers? Is it you're dealing with competition? You don't know how to stand out? Is it your average project size or the customer size? So please put it in the chat. So we got team members, not enough customers, not enough customers. So keep it coming. I want to see this all because this also helped me kind of gear these upcoming slides to where the overwhelming majority is. Just reading them all, not how to get customers challenge, stand out, e-commerce, super niche and struggling, team members, the website, intriguing. Okay, lack of visibility. All right. I think we're going to be able to cover quite a bit of this. So I appreciate you all being so transparent here. Unable to afford our services combined with overreach or credential insurance for providers, combined with leaders creating brand new. Okay. This is great. Thank you all. So I think this is perfect. A lot of your hitting customers. Let's just start here. Who you serve. So in all the years I've been running this business, I deal with a lot of startups. And a lot of you sound like you're an early stage startup, that sort of thing. And a lot of folks will highlight to me right away a problem they're trying to solve. The issue is not all problems are created equally. I want to hit this home because, one, I will tell you in 17 years doing this, you can't sell to those who don't want to be sold to. And you can't sell unless you know how to sell to people who you understand intimately their pain point or problem. So I'll give you a quick personal lesson where I learned this in my early 20s, many years ago. So early on when we were building Chop Dawg, we were trying to figure out an audience that could spend money and would generate us enough revenue and keep the lights on and keep things going. We were offering website design then. So this would have been 2010, 2011. So one thing we observed early on is we offered at the time incredible website design services. And it's hard to believe, but especially back in 2008, 9, 10, 11, people still did not necessarily just get a website built. The first thing you do when you start a business today is what? Probably buy a .com name, right? Get a URL, get a website server, get something there. So we quickly realized there's a huge audience that doesn't have websites. still in 2010, 2011, which were nonprofits. So what we said is, how can we reach these people and show them we will be their saving grace, their beck and call. We can solve this problem for them and help them increase donors, donations, visibility, brand awareness. So we created this incredible mailer campaign. We realized they're not really checking emails as much, things like that. So how do we stand out? So at the time, my head of design was a guy named Eddie Catento, amazing human being. We created these postcards that look like I don't know how many of you have ever seen Back to the Future, but in Back to the Future 2, where the inspiration came from is Marty McFly gets a letter from 100 years earlier from Doc being sent in the past. And we're like, this kind of feels like how these businesses are, these nonprofits are kind of working. They don't have a website in this day and age. It's like they're caught 100 years ago in the past. So we created these postcards that look like from 100 years ago. And when you open, it's like, why does your nonprofit, why does your business look as dated as these postcards? We can fix that. And we had letters and we sealed them with wax seals like they were sent 100 years ago. And fun, quick side note, I don't know how many of you don't know this, but it's really hard to get dated looking envelopes. So we would actually take trash can lids, put a lot of tea and tea bags in them, and we would take these white letters for postcards and dip them in tea, and then have someone air dry them using a hair dryer, and to make sure they kind of stick together and let them dry to create these old looking postcards. And we had to create custom stamps and figure out how in the world do we create custom stamps that the United States Postal Service would allow. We found a company that would let us do wax seals. We put a lot of time and effort and money, especially back then, probably every dollar we had to reach these people. And we had someone, we had to be searching online to get all the addresses for these nonprofits or to register. We were looking in New Jersey State Directory, Pennsylvania, New York, Delaware, things like that. And we sent out, I think it was about 20,000 mailers. And we just waited. We're like, okay, any day we're going to start getting emails and phone calls. We sent them. A day goes by, 2 days goes by. At this point, we're like, all right, 2-3 days in, people should be getting them. 3, 4, 5, 6 days go by. A week turns to 2 weeks. We heard nothing. Zero. 2 weeks in, finally, we get a single phone call. And we answer it, and this individual goes, he's like, listen, I run this nonprofit. I received this mailer. This is probably one of the most original creative things because I never opened the mail. And when I got this, I was like, what in the world is this? I had to look at it. I loved it. I'm so flabbergasted, like how you all put this together. This is amazing. And we're like, yes, we made it. We got this. So we asked him, like, so how can we schedule a consultation? Let's talk. How can we help you? And the guy goes, oh, no. Listen, we don't have any money. This is not a priority to us. I just wanted to call you and tell you how awesome this is. And hung up. I think you're all starting to see the lesson here. We are selling to people who didn't want to be sold to. We were selling to people who didn't have the money, even if they would be sold to. And I hit this home to put in here just to emphasize this is the number one theme I see majority of the startup clientele and early stage companies I work with. It's really hard to solve a problem and do it exceptional. I challenge you to ask yourself, do you have enough demand in a marketplace of people who are looking for something you do? And do they have the budget, the finances to validate why like you have to charge? Because all of you have baseline paying salaries, infrastructure, resources, and you have to make a profit, right? Too many people I have met in 17 years, and so many people that reach out to my company, Chop Dawg, to build their app for their business and things like that as a startup. They're fueled, they're motivated, they are so empowered, except they never solved I'm providing the solution. I know I'm better than anyone else. I can do it. They never solved, is there enough demand to reach people who need this? Or do they have money to spend for what they're looking for? And I say that saying the number one people I've built and seen are people solving their own problems. So there's a term called eating your own dog food. It's punny. My business called Chop Dawg. One of my 2 English bulldogs is right behind me, and I have our whole logo up here. But the idea is, are you building something you would use yourself, that you would pay yourself, that you would buy yourself? If the answer is no, how in the world are you going to relate to other people you're going to sell to? So when building Chop Dawg, I constantly looked at it as I'm either the most technical, non-technical person on the planet or the most non-technical, technical person on the planet. I don't personally code or design, um, but I know innately how consumers think, how businesses think, what people need to do. So I know when we're building Chop Dawg and every decision making we do, are we building something that I would personally put money into, that I would need, or that I would want to be involved with? And that is in the price point, the budgeting that I could justify and afford and do, and with the type of people I'm trying to account for. And I challenge you all here and truly digest and marinate on how many of you have actually put in that thought and energy for that versus just saying, I'm going to provide the service or I'm going to sell this product. And even then, did you put yourself in the right spot? Are you in front of those people and do you know how to talk to them? That is so critical. And so few business owners I meet think about this, or they realize after the fact. They learn from the school of hard knocks by having to pivot and adjust. And to be clear, that was me. I had to do that. And I'm saying this because if I knew and I thought about these things when I was building my business, I probably would be 5, 10 years ahead of where I'm at today. I'm telling you what it is. This was a lesson that took being emotionally beat several times, almost running my business to the point where we ran out of cash, trying to figure out, is there a market there and how can I serve, and still aligning with my core values of the type of business I want us to be and the type of service I want to provide and the pride that goes along with it. So it starts there, who you serve. And it's not necessarily who you serve, but it's, is there a market there? Is there people you can talk to? Can you communicate with them? And that goes into just knowing your customer, your client deeply. I will say this is going to go into another layer in a minute when we get there about marketing and advertising and understanding where these people live and communicate. We're going to get into that because it's not just this, but you need to know where they are and how to reach them and how to talk to them. And so few people do this. The ones that do, that's where the award is. It's the reason my company has existed to this day is because I know how to reach people. I mean, let's talk about it. Quite a few of you are people who probably need apps development. It's reaching people like this. So I know firsthand, okay, if I do something like this could generate business. It's not the only reason I'm doing this. I want to do it to actually help people. But this is the point being. I'm going to show you all some strategies that I personally do for my business and show how you can think about it for your own lens. This goes into then how you attract the right people and then the value. So we need to talk about this. So many of you are either undercharging or overcharging. And this comes down to your audience. I know our price point because I know exactly dollar for dollar. Not only can I be profitable, it's at a price point that people can afford for the type of businesses they're running with us. So many people will undercharge because they're scared of charging what their business should be. And it's so hard to raise your pricing after the fact. I think about it. Every time Netflix raises their prices, there's literally New York Times articles about people being upset and canceling their subscription. It's a lot easier to lower your costs because you make people happy, especially for those that are earlier companies that are growing, things like that here in the chat. If they were early adopters and you raise your pricing, are you upsetting them? Are you making them feel jaded? Are you creating a bait and switch? Start at the price point that honestly my mentor, the individual taught me, and I'll teach you all, is that you think is almost unreasonable. Where you're like, what is wrong with me? I don't think we can charge this, but try it. Worst case, it doesn't work. Lower slightly. Try again. Lower slightly. Try again. You want to find on the Venn diagram your price point where people might hesitate to spend the money, but they say yes. That's the sweet spot. That means you've convinced them there's value. You know what you're doing. There's a brand behind it. But it was enough there to validate their decision making to make them say yes. That is so hard, but we are all programmed the opposite, at least the majority of us. Or I want to do the least amount because I need volume in business. But then you're teaching your market, your work only this much money. How do you raise your costs after? It's so vital you change that psychology. And this is going to go into lifetime value and pricing and margin. So most of my business today comes from repeat business. It's actually pretty funny. For years, we struggled trying to bring in as many people as possible. And to be clear, we're always looking for new people. I'm in the business of, I'm an app development agency. So people get an app built. Once an app's been built, how often are they coming back? They get new features or functionality or support or things like that. But that isn't actually the right way I looked at my business for years. The right way is, can I do such an exceptional job that you say to yourself, I need to keep working with them? Even if it's 6 months, a year later, you come back and say, I have features I want to add, I want things. Majority of my clients, 92% of them are repeat business. I could go an entire year right now without a new client. Not that I want this, but I could. And our lights will be on. I don't need to lay off anyone. We can keep our ad spend the way we're doing it. Focusing on the right things. Can you provide such an exceptional service that you can keep the lights on and at the price point that, yeah, you want your customers to think, but they say to yourselves, yeah, you are the best at what you do for the price point I'm getting. I want to keep coming back, and make sure it's at a level that's a healthy enough margin. So many businesses, they charge those so short, they're not bringing enough margin, and then they're not reinvesting back into advertising or customer support. And you're creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's, again, comes back to the theme I shared earlier here, being purposeful. So for years when I was growing my business, I didn't take a dollar in profit. And to be clear, I was fortunate that when I started so young, I could take that risk tolerance. I realized it's harder even for me today. I'm married. I have a mortgage. I'm eventually going to have a kid. I have responsibilities. It's harder versus when I was in my earlier 20s into my mid 20s, where I could take a leap of faith. And if I needed to eat ramen and pay and live in like a studio apartment before rents exploded, I could do that. But you do need to ask yourself, how much do you truly need today versus you can put back into business? Because the best thing I did is 5 years in a row of putting as much money I could in the right things and trying to build up our brand, trying to build repeat business, building in referrals, building in clout. It's a snowball going down a hill that kept picking up more snow. And so few entrepreneurs do this early. That comes back into what I was saying about pricing a strategy, not math. Are you pricing a point because you want to be a high quality caliber product? Are you being lowest common denominator because you're building a volume driven business? Or are you signaling accidentally you're a cheap product or a service? Or are you signaling you're a premium and that's the white glove service you're going to provide? Again, are you being purposeful about your pricing or did you just come up with a number? Is it Santoria? You hit it as, are you a Lexus or a Lambo? It's such a great example. Just people don't consciously think about this. So many startups I work with don't think about this. And every decision like this matters, and the wrong one could be fatal. And again, it comes back to the first pillar we're talking about. Do you know your audience? Do you know your demographic? It comes back into, who are you providing? Is a product service bundle? Who is it for? What delivers? What outcomes is it? If and we're going to talk about this. Your buyers don't understand the offer, your pricing don't work. This comes back into that strategy again. Are you solving someone's problem and can you talk to them at a level? So outcome driven language is the secret sauce here that too few businesses do. I don't care if a lot of you say you're not into marketing or advertising, like that's not your thing, you're an operator. If you're an entrepreneur, you're a salesperson. How do you get your team wild up and focused? How do you talk to your customers? How do you get eyeballs? Most of you, if not majority, I guarantee you wear every damn hat in your business. And if you tell me otherwise, that's not true. Even today, I have 100+ people that work for me full time between 1099 contractors, W-2 employees, people here in the United States and Pakistan and Brazil and India. I have to wear every darn hat. Today alone, I had to sit in a dev call to hear what's going on in a project, work with a designer to solve a problem, had consultations of new potential opportunities. I'm doing this right now. And at the top of the hour, I'm doing a sales call with one of my salespeople. If you're not doing everything, you need to be paying attention to all these details. So the one thing I need to hit home for you here is you can't sell complexity. You need to know what you're talking to, what demographic, and how to win them over. So few people are actually doing that. Like, for example, I'm hoping, and it seems this way, the chat seems to be a little bit receptive. I'm resonating with you all because I'm talking at the level you expect and the level that how we should be talking to each other. But so few people do this. They talk too technical lingo in my industry, for example, for people who aren't technical how to build an app. It's like when I had an issue, for example, my water heater busted and I'm trying to get quotes and trying to figure out people. At the end of the day, all I cared about is can you help me fix this or replace this? Not telling me every technical restriction or something like, I don't know this world. This is a decision I got to make. And this is the outcome driven language I encourage you. This is the shift that how I speak to everyone I work with, everyone that hires me, every sales is everything I do is about what is the result expected and reverse engineer from there. So when people hire us, they expect to be a success story. They expect if I build them an app, their app is going to be successful either to help run their business or to help advertise better, help get more customers, help generate e-commerce, whatever it might mean. So one of the easiest things in the world is my industry was boring. If anyone, I don't know how many of you ever looked to build an app before, but so many people in my industry, my competitors will do things like, here's our portfolio. Here's the services we provide. But if I'm a customer, I don't care about that. I want to know what successes have you done? What have you actually accomplished? And what in the world are you going to do for me? Like if I hire you, what can you do for me? I don't care about a list of services. What are you going to do for me? So I encourage you all, when you get bored later, go to our website, chopdawg.com, DAWG. We don't list our services. It's going to say, what will we do for you? It doesn't list our portfolio or our work. It says our success stories. It says, it doesn't say about us. It says, what are we going to do for you? Who are we for you? How are we going to help you? Why we're here for you? Again, my industry is a little unique in this regard, but it's not. Ask yourself in everything you're doing right now, are you providing a laundry list of sales of like, here's the things you can do line item, or are you relating it in an outcome-driven language that they're going to resonate with your audience? And this comes back to eating your own dog foods. How would you want to be talked to if you're trying to sell the service, or what would you look for if you're the one looking for your service or the product you offer? Value comes first in optimization. If you haven't noticed, I've been talking about fundamentals. This entire thing's almost fundamentals. And I want to kind of get through this because there's still a lot more I want to cover. I want to open the floor for Q&A here. Once you master the fundamentals, you can play around with different service offerings and extra price points and things like that. You can focus on then how do you do retention? How do I, if I did this level of service, can I ask someone, hey, would you be willing to refer me? Or, hey, can I not upsell you? Because I think that's such a bull crap term, but more like, hey, I really think this could be beneficial for you. Yes, it's going to cost more, but I believe it will produce ROI. In my case, for my business, it's people that can make more money from it. But maybe for you, it gives you happiness back, give you more time back, give you more ease, whatever it might be. How and what are you offering for them? But as you master these fundamentals, how can you parlay that with the trust and the brand equity you have built? That's just vital. We already kind of talked about this, the pricing and packaging. I'm going to open this up more in Q&A, but the idea here is, are you offering at the right price point to get the people in the door? Now you can still be healthy and you're not signaling that you're too cheap or you're too expensive. And website will be at the very end. It's chopdawg.com. You'll see it with my email at the end. And that's it. And these are the big things. And then products that stand out in the marketplace and services stand out against other providers. I want to switch gears to here now. If you all are following me with these fundamentals, these next strategies and using modern tools is rocket fuel. It's gasoline on a fire. So one, too many businesses make things too complex. How many steps does it take to go and walk into your business or find your business or schedule a consultation or book it? I guarantee you anything you all are doing is more steps, more things than is needed. Less is more. Now, I know the counter argument often is, yeah, but if I get too much volume, how do I balance it? The answer is you figure it out, because what's the contrary is what a lot of people told me here. I don't have enough customers. I don't have enough demand. So first is, are you making things too complex? Again, I'm only going to use my business example because it's the easiest one, but I'm going to give you a few more examples of some of my clients. If you want to hire us to build you an app, I should make it in less than 20 seconds for you to be able to schedule a consultation, meet with us. If I add any extra steps, I lost you because I have 10,000 competitors. I'm in the commodity business, right? There's more than just me out there. So that's one. For you all, if I'm buying a product, how can I do a one click checkout? How can I quickly get the least amount of options early on to get to convert when they're engaged emotionally and they're motivated and you have their attention, because we all know how hard that attention is. That clarity exposes value. Again, if there's only a couple takeaways you want in here, you need to understand this more than anything else. And again, it's even the way you word it. So I see here, I sell AI automation solutions. Completely understand we need to talk about the business outcomes. Most of our clients have no idea what we're doing to optimize, I can't talk today apparently, optimize their business. I agree. I mean, Thomas, you hit the nail on the head. It comes down very simple. Most people, and we're going to talk about this in a moment, AI feels so complex to them. They don't do this every day. They don't use ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity or Gemini. You have to go through and say it's not, you're not selling AI automation solutions. You're selling, how can I make you more money quickly? How can I get you time back more quickly? How can I make you happier quickly? How can I get you back with your family versus doing this mundane task more quickly? Like, you need to look and frame in that way. Perfect segue. AI support strategy. It doesn't replace it. So I'm curious. I don't want to ask how many of you are using AI every day. I want to ask, and you put this in the chat for me for a minute, how many of you are not using ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or Perplexity or Grok every day? I want to know who's not in the chat right now. Not who is, who's not. All right, we got one me. And I appreciate the transparency. This will let me go. Got a couple me's. Listen, I appreciate the honesty here, folks. And this is the number one thing I'm going to tell you right now. If you're not using these tools today, you will be left behind. I don't say that necessarily to talk and demeanor you, because these changes scary. But I'm telling you right now, the paradigm shift has occurred. Ignore when you read AI bubble and these companies' evaluations, all that. I was very young. Remember the dot-com bubble? They said it's the end of the internet. How in the world am I talking to you all right now? Those companies probably weren't offering value and weren't offering the right price point. They sure as hell weren't making a profit. So there's a reason there's pets.com. Same thing in the crypto bubble in a couple years ago. But guess what? Blockchain technology, things like that, still being used today in practical setting, but half those companies don't exist. But here's what I recommend. Learn these tools. It's like 10, 15 years ago, not learning how to use Google. This is where your consumers are searching more than ever. For those that are targeting Gen Z or very young millennials still, people are now using ChatGPT and Claude and Perplexity and even the Google AI tool to search for services and product offering over a Google search. I have to hit that home. And second, if you're not using it to save you time and energy, you are leaving so much on the table. Let me tell you something. A lot of this presentation today was in help with AI. Now, of course, it's my ideas, my thoughts, what I want to talk about. But I was able to use AI and say, hey, what are the things that are going to hit home the most based off of what I want to talk about? And how do I do this in less than an hour and give enough time for Q&A? What are some terms that I'm going to put here that might go over people's heads that I should simplify or think of a different way to go about it? Half my day is spent answering emails. It looks like I'm working here in a NASA, if you saw the amount of screens I have. So half my day is writing email draft. And I used to spend so much time reading an email, making sure no typos, no grammar. Did I make everything clear? Is my sentence structure? Half my day is literally, how do I communicate? I will leverage Claude, put stuff in Claude and just say, does my email make sense? Is it too lengthy? Am I hitting home the theme enough? Is it done right? And it will update what I wrote. And I'll pump out emails that used to take me an hour to write in 20 minutes. So I can do now 3 emails in that hour instead of 1. It's maximizing your output with effectiveness. But let's talk about this. So I'm sure so many of you know search engine optimization. SEO's been the king for a long time. And by the way, it's not going anywhere. So don't let any snake oil salesman tell you that Google is dead or Bing is dead and people won't search that way. It's not going anywhere. But it was, for the longest time, the only game in town. It's not anymore, and everyone, I don't care if you were in a physical brick and mortar location 2 blocks from me here in Fishtown, Philadelphia, or you're in Cheyenne, Wyoming, or you're in Nashville, Tennessee, or Miami, or in Dallas, Texas, or wherever else that's on the chat, LA, I saw a few of those. People will find your physical location or your digital service now more than ever with chat. And by the way, this is just human nature. When a chat writes to you like a human versus Google is a listing, which one do you think feels more creditable to you? More emotional, like renaissance to you? The chat, because we are programmed, referrals and recommendations are king over anything else. So I'm telling you right now, You need to look at the term. It's called generative engine optimization, GEO. GEO is the AI equivalent of SEO. Look into, and there's so many strategies we're not going to have time today to go through. But I'm telling you, go on Google, and by the way, go ask ChatGPT and Claude and Perplexity and start looking up strategies for your small business to use GEO. That is vital. And by the way, AI works in so many ways. One of my favorite AI bots in the world right now, I use an app called mem.ai. Majority of my meetings are done virtually. I also can't sit in every meeting at once. So I have a bot that sits in every meeting, feeds it into my mem.ai. I pay like $20 a month for this. All my meetings and transcripts are there. And then I have a chat bot. I can ask it, hey, remind me when I talked to Julius last week, what were the takeaways before I get on a call today? Or what did Julius owe me? Or what did whatever? And it acts as my 24/7 assistant. Even on meetings I'm not sitting in, I can ask it, can you recap the meetings I missed today that I couldn't be there because I had to be elsewhere? So I stay in the loop. Google Geo, ChatGPT Geo, Claude Geo, Perplexity Geo, Gemini. And by the way, there's no favor right now. These companies are in an arms race. I couldn't tell you in 2 years from now, given their cash flow, which ones will still be here or not, but they're all evolving. There's going to be a winner and a loser, just like everything else. But play around with all these tools. If you can't carve out 20, 30 minutes, all of you, to go and just learn these tools, but you can sit on a webinar, I'm telling you, you are not prioritizing your time right. You are not. And if you want your business to last the next decade, this is the paradigm shift happening now. The last time something like this happened, I'm going to say is the App Store, when the Apple App Store and Google Play Store became a thing. Before that, the dot-com boom. That's the paradigm shift happening right now. We kind of hit this home. I'm going to breeze through because I want to open Q&A to get more practicality. We leverage AI today to help us when we feed it enough engine, to help us create more social media content than ever, more automated emails. It helps us in scheduling. It helps us in answering emails. It helps us with thinking through things. You can literally use AI right now. Amount of people that'll go on AI on Claude Code, have it create a very crude function, like prototype of what they're trying to build, and then present it to me to understand their app idea and use it to think through things before they even start reaching out to companies like me. It's uncanny. You can do things in 20 minutes that used to cost you 400 hours of manpower. If it was $100 an hour, do the math. You can do now in 20 minutes. I want to hit this home, and it's not to be patronizing, but it's the truth. If you're not leveraging AI with your business right now, you just have both your hands tied behind your back trying to run it. That's what it is. Play around 20, 30 minutes. You do that tonight. Come on, we all have this time where you're on your phone because let's be blunt about it. You're on the toilet, or you're brushing your teeth, or you're in bed, or you're on the couch and you have the TV on. Just spend that 20, 30 minutes instead playing around with these tools. You will learn so much. I hit home already to why it matters and growth. I know I'm breezing through, so I want to get into Q&A, but I'm telling you right now, there are so many opportunities here. So again, I want to hit this home because we didn't talk about this much here. You can also do the same thing with finding your communities. If you all know the type of people you're trying to sell to, you know where to hang out online. One of my favorite things to do in the world is I'll Google top app development companies or where to find an app development company. And usually the top results will be like Reddit posts and Quora posts and stuff like that. So what ultimately happens is I'll go on there and I'll respond with a candid answer like, hey, if you're looking to build an app like this, I've run this company for years called Chop Dawg. This is what I'd recommend. Here's what I'll do it. Guess what? The amount of referrals I've got by just doing fun things like this and trying to help people and putting my name out there. And then you're feeding the AI engines to know you exist. It's uncanny. Doing things like this, by me doing a webinar today and it says Chop Dawg, an app development agency with Lily, it feeds the AI engines. It now knows I exist in another form factor. These things add up. It's not one thing, though, and I need to hit this home, where you do one thing and that's the single difference between being $100,000 a year in revenue, 1.5 million a year. It's the compound of 3 things a day over 365 days a year. If you do that, you're going to have over 1,000 small wins. Those 1,000 small wins turns into that 1.5, that 2.5, that 3.5, that 5, that $10 million ARR. So I just need to hit that home for you all. That's what I'm telling you. Meet where they already are. Ask yourself, what are people in your business? How are they finding you? What are they typing in on Google? What are they putting in on ChatGPT? What are they putting in Claude? What are they putting in Gemini? What are they putting in Perplexity? And then see what the answers come out and then go to where those people are or create content that matches what people are searching for. So the bots, the AIs, they pull it up. These are the 4 pillars, folks. I screenshot this. I know you're going to get the recording after. This is it. I'm hoping, and I see it in the chat, I don't think anything I've said here is rocket science where you're like, whoa, I've never thought about it before. In fact, I bet probably 100 of you at least are saying, well, no duh. And listen, that's a good thing. This is not easy, but it should not be like some glass break. My whole perspective of reality changed. The issue is us as human beings, we look for a more complex answer because the easy stuff doesn't sound right. Or you ask yourself, if it's that easy, why isn't everyone doing it? Well, the answer is because it's hard work. I mean, that's genuinely what it is. Systems turn growth into profit, folks. I can't hit that home enough. As revenue grows, the cost of weak systems grow here, and that comes into how are you optimized for communication, relatability, upselling, referrals, repeat business, getting your name out there. You are a snowball going down a hill. The more you do, the more you pick up, the more you pick up, the more you do. You can create a positive, self-fulfilling prophecy for 7 figures. And I promise you it's not that hard. My business does it. I am dumb as a doorknob. I promise you I am not smarter than any other person here right now. I might be a little bit of luck, and I'm not going to BS anyone saying luck doesn't play a part, but I put myself in that luck position. But the reality is I just work my tail off and constantly refuse to get complacent and trying to always identify the trends as soon as they're happening and be early as possible on them. And that's what I'm recommending you here. And I always don't try to lose sight of the forest from the trees. That's it. I promise you that is it. I want to thank Lily, by the way. I leverage Lily personally for my bank. It's used it for my business bank account. I personally love the business build card. I use it all the time to manage my cash flow and do all my transactions outside of payroll like once a month, excuse me. I love the wiring and ACH. I use that to pay my Brazilian design team. I use it to track and organize all my transaction, folks, when it comes to like different expenses. I know a lot of you hear from Lily. Those that don't, I can't say enough amazing things, and their customer support is just tremendous. It was the reason why I personally went with Lily, and because of Lily, I've built this amazing relationship with them, and why I get to work with them today and get to do cool things like this for you all. So I can't say enough good things about Lily. I recommend it if you haven't already. So just to recap, know your ideal customers or clients. 2, design valuable, clear product, services, and offers around them. 3, use AI. Geo, remember that term geo, G-E-O, SEO, and communities to reach, convert, and retain them. And 4, put systems and financial foundations in place, folks, to optimize and grow. Your next steps here, I want you need to come off this call and you need to spend an hour, get a journal, get whatever. I use an iPad with a pencil. Figure out and ask yourself the hard-hitting questions. What's your weakest revenue pillar? What's one customer insight you know you can relate better? What's one offer improvement you know you stink at and you know you haven't been putting time and energy into? What's one way to test your growth? And what's one financial habit you can put in place? Ask yourself these questions, folks. The better quality questions you ask yourself, the better quality answers you get, the more change you will have. Now, last but not least, I'm sorry I only gave us 12 minutes here. I would love for you to ask questions here in the QA tab. Please put in here. I want to try to get as many answers that I can give that can be valuable to everyone. So I'll give everyone about 60 seconds. Ask me your QA questions in here. Then Marissa and I will organize and go through it. And I'm going to leave this last tab here while you do Q&A. My email's on the bottom. So again, thank you, Lily. Make sure to visit them at lily.co. My personal email address is joshua@chopdawg.com. Dog is D-A-W-G. Anyone that wants to get in touch with me after because they have extra questions or thoughts or things like that, please feel free to reach out. I would recommend putting the email subject like Lily webinar, something like that, so I know you're from here. But I have an open door. You can reach out to me. So, okay. I want to give everyone, I'm seeing some Q&A coming in. Please ask in the Q&A tab. Just start asking things in here now. And I know some people are asking already, you will all be getting this recording in the presentation. So everyone here that's signed up is going to get it. So I'm just gonna go start throwing emails or the Q&A, but please keep asking away. So I think it's pronounced Moselle. Moselle Watson, you asked, how do you not get overwhelmed by the amounts of emails you have to send? I have a wine import and distribution company. At times it's too much, and I just said I'm sitting there. Moselle, I'm going to recommend a tool I personally use. Number one, let me see if I can find the name of it for you. It is called HeyHelp.ai. So HeyHelp.ai automatically organizes all my emails for me because I get like 50, 60, 100 a day. It'll automatically organize things in notifications versus needs a reply versus FYI. I didn't build this app. It's not mine. But this is a life-saving app I use. The second thing, I'm just very disciplined. I will use a snooze functionality to quickly snooze things to have it pop up back in my inbox when I need to. At times I know I need to answer. I use the app called Things, Things, for my to-do list for day to day. And then lastly, I leverage the hell out of AI. I have literally a prompt on Claude where it trained it. I spent like 20 minutes a couple months ago saying these are the type of emails I like writing, how I like to write it. I'm going to give you a draft and context. Please help me improve it. And then I will write drafts quickly, give it into Claude to modify to make sure it's exactly how I want it to be, the send. It's the cocktail combination of that, Moselle. That's what I would recommend for you, man. But I appreciate you asking that question. Sorry, I didn't realize I could hit the answer live button, but I'll do that for more. And going through, so is this, I'm so sorry, I'm going to mispronounce this. Venetia. But you asked, are there any good prompts to use for AI? Candidly, use any, like, you just got to play around, figure out what works for your business. I will train a new thread and I'll start to be like, here's examples of emails like writing. I like this type of tone. I'm going to give you email with my drafting threads for context. Can you help improve it? Or I'll create templates. Like when we add a new client, here's the type of messages we need to send. Now I'll give you context so you can rewrite it moving forward to modify it. So I'll take a task that would take me 30, 40, 50, 60 minutes and turn it into AI tasks and now take me 5 minutes to do. So you just got to play around and give it the type of answers you like. And based off of that, then you can start building workflows for it. And then Myson, this is a great one. How to sell your service without sounding desperate, too pushy. Honestly, Myson, this is a hard one because you need to be able to sell. I mean, that's a part of being entrepreneurship. But at the same time, people can smell bullshit. So I think it's just be authentic and be helpful. It's like I tell people all the time, of course, if anyone here wants to build an app, I'd love to do it for them. Don't just shove it down the pipeline constantly. Like, be organic about it, be caring, but be in things for the right reasons and be altruistic and just try to help people. And I don't know, maybe it's a little woo-woo for me, but I've just believed the more I've tried to help people in my life and help in business and do things like this, it gets me the right at bats in front of the right people who then need the service I do. And then they already now trust me more because they knew my heart was in the right place and then they want to work with me more. So that is the answer. And then the second thing is go in front of where your communities are, your target demographics are. Are they on Reddit, Facebook groups, WhatsApp threads, all right? Like, are they on TikToks and Instagrams? You gotta know, like, and understand yourself. If you're your own target demographic, where would you be? Reverse engineer Myson off of that. Da-da-da. Let's go through. This is a good one. Juniper, which awesome name. But if chat is now using ads, want to be pay-to-play platform is able to direct searches to businesses to pay to advertise? What are your thoughts on this? They are showing ads underneath direct prompts. Yeah, ads are coming, and that's going to be a paradigm shift. But right now, there's still no ads on the paid version of ChatGPT. There's no ads on Claude. There's no ads on Perplexity. There's no ads on Gemini. There's no ads on Grok. Ads are going to eventually be on everything. The answer is be putting out content, the right information, so chat still prioritizes you right now because you are the right answer for the right source. But same thing, things will adjust, times will change when it happens. Be ready to pivot. I just recommend that. I know someone asked, what was that email tool I used? It was called a Hey Help.ai. Again, I have no affiliation with that company. So just FYI, but it's what I personally use. Going through. So I'm just trying to find, there's so many questions here. I want to go through. Here's a good one. So I think it's Daniela. You asked, how can we decide our price? What are the important things to consider there? Well, I mean, the first question is this, Daniela, if I was you, who's my audience and how much are they willing to spend for this type of service? And then the second thing, or product. And then I think the second thing you got to do, Daniela, is just simply ask yourself, with what I just answered there, did I leave enough money on the table for me to be profitable and reinvest back into business? That's it. I'll start there. Yes, there's more nuance to that, like how much does your product or service cost to make, things like that. But like you need to know how much is your target audience going to spend and what they're willing to spend. And you need to be able to ask yourself, based off of that, then what it costs me to run it, do all the stuff, can I be profitable? And if either of those answers are not aligned, I think you understand your business model or the lack thereof that you need to do. Anonymous attendee, you asked, do you recommend using an AI platform like to build a beta version of your app? Heck, yes. I can't tell you how awesome it is that people reach out to me now and they'll be like, hey, I spent an afternoon on Claude Code and I created this concept and I used this concept to present in front of friends or family or potential customers and they loved it. And now I know what I want and what I'm not looking for. So they not only give me a cheat sheet to better understand right away, anonymous attendee, like what they're trying to do, they also kind of validated the limit their risk more, right? It's such an incredible tool in that way. And that's the magic of what these AI tools are. All right, I'm going to keep going through. Uh, do you go after grants, investors? What are some of the funding sources you use? I mean, it depends on your business here, Charlene. Like when I started my company, I just needed $10 for a domain name many, many years ago and to pay a server. You know, some of my clients have to start with $100,000 up. Sometimes people have us to create what's called a non-functional prototype of their app, an NFP, and they'll use it to present in front of potential investors and stakeholders. Sometimes we'll create what's called a minimum viable product, the leanest version that they can afford to get out the market, because their goal is to use it to get pre-orders or advertisers or enough revenue to parlay it. So it all plays a part into that. And then Juliana, I know you asked about a rough estimate to build an app. It's a great question. Did you visit my site, chopdawg.com? We actually publicly put in pricing for transparency, and you can always schedule a consultation with us. And pro tip for everyone, the reason we put our pricing out there is one, for questions like this, because I refuse to hide behind some walled garden. And second, we can feed the AI. So now the AI will not only say, here's what average price for an app idea might be, they'll credit us as a source so people come to us. So I just want to show you real examples of how you can use practicality and action to do generative engine optimization. Going through, I think we have time for like maybe one more question here. Let's see. So you asked, Dustin, I wonder if accountability matters for your business. I mean, accountability is everything. And I mean, I'm accountable to my employees and contractors and my clients. They're accountable when I pay people to me for the service I'm trying to get to. You know, my partners and my clients, when they hire us, they're holding me accountable to what we do. Like, to me, how do you run a business without accountability? Accountability and trust, like, you're not working in a silo. So I think the answer is always just yes. Do we have any more time for any other questions? We got 2 minutes left here. I think just because there's still more questions coming in and I just can't keep up, and I'm going to have to hop off here in a minute. I genuinely want to thank all of you here. I know firsthand how tough running a business is. Many, many years ago, I thought I was going to have to file bankruptcy and just close up shop. I know how hard it is to find people, build trust, build relationships, hire. Even today, I went through so many things, but I was still 30,000 foot view. I encourage you to go for these recording and transcripts, learn from. You can reach out to me at any time. That email, joshua@chopdawg.com. That chopdawg.com is my website. Like, you can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. I'm here to help people. That's all I care about is just how can I help? I recommend like reach out. If I know the answer, I'm happy to do so. And again, I just want to, on a final note here, I want to thank my friends at Lily. Lily's just been an awesome bank for me. We personally use it at Chop Dawg. I personally use it. So I know a lot of you use it already, but they're how I wish most small business banks were. So it was so nice meeting so many of you. I loved how all over the world, all over the country you were today. And please feel free to reach out anytime. And I hope at least something from today's call sparked some inspiration or an actionable insight for you to take from here. and Charlene do another webinar, listen, it's up to Marissa and the fine folks at Lilly. So I'll leave it to them, but I would love to. There's a lot more I can always talk about. But thank you all so much.